Good evening. Samuel Chuku and Ifunaya, good job. Thank you so much. Well done. Joseph Etim, well done. Amazing job. This is the first speaking engagement I have accepted this year. And anyone who knows the way that I operate, I don't really travel for anyone. I mean for anyone. I mean at any price. All right? Joseph Etim is one of the few people in this world that would invite me from outside of Lagos, and I would accept. And I really appreciate the work that he's doing. It's easy to see that this comes from his heart, and he really wants to help people. On our way from the airport, we're having a conversation. I think it was centered around politics. Right. I remember what the premise was. There's this video that Fisayo Fosudo put up on his YouTube channel. And it was kind of like a home makeover for some man. And he made up the home, and it was cool, habitable. But one of the things that the man said while he was happy and giving gratitude was that he never thought he could live in a house like that, and that he assumed that such a house, such living conditions, were the things that only a minister could live with. And I told Joseph that what that man said, you might gasp at it. But that is the reality of so many people. There are some aspects of life that a lot of people will never know exists, if not for events like this. All right? I also went on to say that it is somewhat intentional. We'll get to that. But I want to just appreciate Joseph again for putting this together. You can't really put a price on that. Eketi Edima, so good to see you in real life again. Salem Kinging, so good to see you for the first time. We only experience each other in the spirit world. That is social media. But now we are in the physical realm. Mr. Julius Afolabi, so good to see you, sir. Yeah, I was here, YPC, last year when I saw your presentation. I never forgot that presentation. It was so powerful. Good job, sir. Mr. Philip Agbola, I think we are meeting for the first time as well. So good to see you. Is that Uke somewhere there? Okay, no, I think someone that has his hairstyle. All right. Mina Atambi, so good to see you. Duke Peter, thank you so much for being here, for supporting me. Appreciate it so much. All right, if I don't call your name, please don't shout at me. Most of you are familiar with my work, familiar with my teaching style. Some of you are not, so let me prepare your minds, all right? The things that I teach, the things that I say, understand this, it's not supposed to be popular. Therefore, it might anger you depending on who you are and where you are right now in life, all right? I want you to cast your mind back when you were a child. Maybe it didn't happen to you, but every Nigerian can understand this scenario, all right? Maybe your mom doesn't want you playing with a certain neighbor in the compound, right? Your mom doesn't necessarily go and announce to the neighborhood, oh, I don't want my child to play with this person's child. Please, everybody keep off. No. Your mom maintains friendship with everybody, but the moment you go and cross boundaries, she will pull you in and discipline you, right? Exactly. The things that I teach are the sort of things that your parents will not announce or even acknowledge they know, but will pull you into the house in the dead of night and advise you. Your father will tell you, I know you saw me and that man play, we are not really friends like that. Be careful. Okay? That's why I call my program Night School. One of the best memories of my life that I have with my father was when I was being prepared to go to boarding school. I went to boarding school in the Southwest, Federal Government College of Bomosho. And before I was to go to boarding school, my father would come to our room 4 kids at the time, later on 5. But he would single me out, bring me to the living room, and he would sit me down and he would teach me, advise me, tell me things that he would not tell the other children. But that would go on for hours. I was way too young to understand. I would even be groggy while he's talking. But he made sure I knew certain things. These are the things that I am hoping that some of you will learn. Because you can probably go through 1,000 lifetimes. I don't mean to brag. You've heard me before, maybe. You can go through 1,000 lifetimes and not hear these things. First of all, let us talk about what it means to be human. All right? What does it mean to be human? Everybody wants to make money, but let's leave these pedestrian topics and come down to the fundamentals of what it means to be human. How many of us did biology in school? We all did, right? Okay, let's refresh our memory. If you remember what we were taught in evolutionary biology, the theory of evolution, all right? Again, it's a theory, not a law. Theory means something that sounds plausible, but we cannot quite prove it or replicate it, so we can't call it a law. All right? It's different from, say, the law of gravity. The law of gravity, we can all prove it, we can replicate it. You jump from skyscraper, you will die. Okay? So, you can prove it, you can replicate it. We cannot really prove or replicate evolution, so we can't call it a law. It is called a theory. Anyway, human beings were called Homo what? Sapiens. But before Homo sapiens, we had Homo erectus. And they were called that because they were the first humans that could stand erect. So by observing that behavior, Homo erectus. Homo means human, all right? Erectus means erect. After Homo erectus came a more advanced human called Homo habilis. Habilis means handy. So they observed these humans, they can work with their hands. They can make tools. So they were called Homo habilis. But after that came a number of iterations, but then came our species called Homo sapiens. Sapiens means wise. So Homo sapiens means wise humans. Why were we called wise humans? Because we were the first species, according to that theory, we were the first species that could appreciate abstract topics. We could appreciate things like music, poetry. We could create them. We could observe cause and effect. We could draw a straight line and study beyond the effect of a thing. We could study the cause of a thing. We could go beyond the cause of a thing and investigate the principle behind that cause. And by studying the principle behind that cause, we could find a way to replicate it in other spheres of life. That is why when Isaac Newton was sitting under the apple tree and the apple fell on his head, he did not eat it. It made him ask a question. Why? What is the principle? And so that is why we are called Homo sapiens, wise humans. Now, that is what the species is called. But when you look at the world today, it does appear that a small minority of the human race is living up to the Homo sapiens title. Why? I think Salem earlier was talking about Abraham Maslow's theory of needs. And he talked about the different rungs on the ladder. Anyway, I simplify this into 2 schools. You might know what they are: the school of the poor, the school of the wealthy. Just follow me. Now, if for any reason you look into your life and find that your ability to observe cause and effect is being challenged, there is an intentional attempt to suppress your creativity. Intentional. Let me give you an example. So earlier on, I observed something in life. And again, by the way, my favorite Bible authors are King Solomon and Jesus. All right? The other ones are, I guess they're okay. But King Solomon and Jesus. Why? King Solomon lived up to Homo sapiens. He observed. He would say, I was on my rooftop and I observed this and I observed that. Here's what I think about that. Not one time did he say, and I heard from the Lord. I saw a vision. Yeah? He used his observation and he wrote so much in the book of Proverbs, in Ecclesiastes. He would say, hey, you, sluggard, come and look at the ant. Right? And that is why we are human. Follow me. So when you look at a child and you want to explain gravity to a child, what do you tell a child? Whatever goes up must come down. And, that's okay. But if someone at 30 still explains gravity in that way, it will tell you a lot about their level of education, right? When you get to secondary school, you start studying integrated science, start coming of age, you study physics, then they start to teach you that, okay, whatever goes up must come down is not really gravity. It is an effect of gravity. It is how we can observe gravity. Actual gravity has to do with the gravitational force of a cosmic body. And there are even equations that can calculate it. All right? And so when you look at the principle behind gravity, we can extract lessons for life. All right? Through the principle of interconnectedness. Interconnectedness means that when you see a principle in one field, it can be applied in another field. So when we say the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, that comes from the principle of gravity. Because the reason the moon revolves around the earth is because the earth is heavier than the moon. And so it has pulled the moon into its orbit. The reason the earth revolves around the sun is because the sun is heavier than the earth. And so it pulls the earth into its orbit. In the same way, if you already have accolades, results, naturally you'll be trusted with more results. And so the Matthew effect says what? To he who has, more will be given. You can observe that very easily as wise humans. Okay? Now let's take that ability into this thing we call content. Content creators or creators in any field. Understand this principle, guys. Life is a pyramid scheme. Life is a pyramid scheme. You know what a pyramid scheme is? Yes? Okay. Think of a pyramid. There are so many at the bottom. Very few make it to the top. Every craft, every business, everything in life operates as a pyramid scheme. Whatever business you are doing, do not be at the bottom. Whatever business you are doing, do not be at the bottom. I'm giving you guys soft land, I'm coming. I was speaking somewhere a couple of years ago, and I told a couple of people, how many of you are website designers here? I'm not asking you, keep your hands down. Just keep it down. I asked them, how many are website designers? They raised your hand. I said, let this be your last year as a website designer. And they were wondering. I said, okay, maybe these things come so easily to me because of my learning. Let me explain. I want you guys to perform an experiment, all right? In your mind, let's work together, role play. Imagine you were a billionaire. Just imagine, all right? In the fullness of being a billionaire. And I'm going to guide us through the imagination so that you understand why I'm saying the things that I'm saying. Imagine you're a billionaire and you've lived many years of your life with the billionaire experience. Your network is full of billionaires. All you talk about is big deals. And naturally, you are grooming your children for succession. Okay? That's all you guys talk about. And then one day, your son, the first son, your pride and joy, right? He's all grown up. Maybe he's 19 or 21. And he comes to the dinner table and says, Dad, Mom, I finally discovered what I want to do with my life, and you're happy. Wow, okay. Tell me about it. And said, Dad, I have this passion. Bear with me, oh. Bear with me. Dad, I have this passion. I have a passion for photography, Dad. Okay. Explain. Says, Dad, you see, whenever I see wildlife, it just makes my heart come alive, Dad. I just want to take photographs of wildlife. I want to go into the jungle, Dad, and take photos of alligators, Dad. Dad, it's my passion. It makes me happy, Dad. I just want you to support me. Wow. I don't know what you would do, but I would think of which of his teachers that needs to be fired. Like, where did I go? Papa Nemeka in the village. Oh, when I did not loan him that money, he said that my children will not amount to anything. Follow me. Photographers, calm down, right? No, trust me, I'm leading you somewhere. This could be your next level. Seriously, I'm not just scolding. I'm not even scolding at all. I don't make the rules. I only explain them. Conversely, say this, remember you're the billionaire, all right? You have more money than you know what to do with. Your concern is not what to eat or what to drive or where to go. You're thinking of legacy. That's all you're thinking about. And expanding your empire, maybe impacting the world on some other level. But if this son or daughter of yours comes to you at their maturation and says, Dad, Mom, I've got this idea, and I know what I want to do with my life, Dad. I know what I want to do with my life, Mom. I want you to hear it. And you're like, okay, I'm excited. What do you want to do? Dad, I have this passion for photography. Okay? Tell me about it. And he puts on a slide deck and says, Dad, all over the world, we have, I don't know how many, XXX number of photographers, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, all right? We've got a number of photographers, and these are the number of photos taken every single year. The biggest photography companies, this is how much they make in turnovers. They sell X number of cameras every single year. There is one thing that all these photographers need, an easy way to color grade their photos. I have an idea. Let's create an app so that anybody without learning how to color grade can simply apply a simple filter on their photograph. I was like, okay. How will you make money? Here it is. I'm going to call it Photoshop. I'm going to charge them a small monthly subscription, and then we're going to sell add-ons like filters and LUTs. That's LUT, it's a term for photographers, right? I'm going to sell them this, and this is what we're projecting. And in the first year, we hope to break even and make X millions or billions of dollars. Dad, I'm like, interesting, impressive, son. So what do you need? Well, we're raising a seed round. Maybe we just want to get started with a small sum of $10 million, and we'll see where it goes. It's like, okay, I'll talk to some of my friends, and we'll see what we can do. The same passion, different application. One person was raised at the lowest level of the pyramid. Another person grew up only seeing the top of that pyramid. And so when I talk about these things, it's with a bit of sensitivity, because I too grew up on the lowest level of the pyramid. I know I don't look like it, I don't sound like it, but I've told my story a couple of times. I don't want to go there now. It's a pretty emotional one. Let's not distract you with that. But I grew up there as well, so this is not judging. This is me just being ferocious about the time I woke up and saw that there is something wrong with the world. And I want you yourself to begin to open your eyes as a true Homo sapien, as a wise human. If you have a passion for videography, why is it the camera you reach for? It's because that's all you were taught. One thing I learned about life was from someone in agriculture. He wasn't even teaching about life or money. He was just teaching about the business, the value chain of agriculture. But my brain has been so trained to interconnectedness that I saw it. I think it was a webinar or an event like this he was just talking about, and he said that one thing about the agricultural business is that the farther you are from the soil, the more money you make. I said, damn. I thought about it like, man, the people who make the most money from computing don't know jack about computing. People who make the most money from photography can't touch a camera. People who make the most money from videos, they don't make videos. And this is where I would jam some of you. Right? People who make the most money from content. Tell somebody, play bigger. What I'm doing is not really telling you what to think, but I'm guiding you on how to think. When I'm done with this, there are things I may not have the time to share, but you will see them yourself in your daily life. You just start seeing things. Days after now, weeks, months, you'll be like, oh my God, that's what makes this way. That's what makes that this way. Tell someone, play bigger. You know, there's a reason Jesus said, do not take too much care for what you will eat or what you will wear. There's a reason, a deeper reason than just not worrying. It's because when you are so saddled with food to eat, you can't think beyond the chains that have been placed upon you. You know, one thing I love about Nigerians is that we are all ambitious. I mean, of course, you have maybe 0.001% that don't care. But most Nigerians are ambitious. And you will appreciate your Nigerianness more when you travel to African countries. Has anyone traveled around Africa? African countries? What do they say about us? Not the negative crap. Right? They say we are forceful. You guys are so... And we don't see ourselves as forceful because it's normal here. we see it as normal. Right? Like it took me traveling around to understand that we are actually aggressive, but we don't know. You know how two men can be having discussion about sports, but somebody who is not from our culture will think we are fighting. You won't really... Especially when they can't understand what we are saying. So they are seeing two men, but if you can understand what we are saying, is not a confrontation, really. We are just discussing. Follow me. All Nigerians, most, are ambitious. Kind of things I usually say them on night school and I don't keep recordings. It's on that there's camera. Yeah, because these things are not supposed to be popular. Huh? But I'll say something that I always say on night school. What does every economist say is the backbone of every economy? The what? The middle class. I love that. How many of you want to be wealthy? Everyone? I expected that because all Nigerians are. But if the backbone of every economy is the middle class, what should every smart thinking leader do? So where the hell do you think you're going? Not saying you can't do it, but I'm saying you need more wit than you think. You need to see life through different eyes. Because the way the system is designed, you live and die into the class you were born into. What are you escaping to? Based on how it's designed. It takes a different set of eyes to see and escape. Say it again, play bigger. All right. The reason I'm laughing is because I'm censoring myself too much. I don't like censoring myself. I say these things all the time, but I don't record them. You just watch them on a live stream and you don't get the recordings. And that sucks. Do you see how the ramblings and the noise of aimless Nigerians on Twitter or Instagram ends up profiting America? I mean, money-wise. Do you see it? You sure? Okay. If you see it, maybe you heard me talk about it one time, but all right. So let's follow the money. So you, Mr. Content Creator, you get angry about something, you have a lot of followers. You go online and you make a post, agitate your follower base. They come in there and they comment, you guys are talking. You are generating engagement on that platform for free. You bring people there, everybody else too, they think they are so important because they can tweet for free. And they're talking, all that activity is being monetized because ads are being shown to those people. It's being monetized. The algorithm favors such content, right? Okay. And then let's say someone like Mark Zuckerberg or Twitter, well, before Elon Musk, Twitter makes money from that. Well, that's not where it ends. Do you know who Mark Zuckerberg's landlord is? Yeah? No, not directly. Amazon. Have you heard of Amazon Web Services? Have you? No? Okay, well, Amazon Web Services is one of Amazon's biggest money makers. It's their cloud solution. I mean, if you're into website design on any level, you know that you need to host your websites somewhere, right? Or if you create any web app, you have to host it somewhere. That's what Amazon does. But they're not targeting the little guy. They target enterprise. On your phone right now, Google, if you have the time, Amazon's top, no, not Amazon itself, but that service, AWS, top customers. You see how many millions Facebook pays Amazon for their services every month. Last time I checked, they were paying Amazon $14 million per month to use their services. Did you guys see some issue between Elon Musk and, no, not Bezos. No, Google. Not him, but Google. There was something about Elon Musk refusing to pay a bill. You guys don't look at such news, right? That's what you should be actually looking at. But that's how I knew from that controversy that Twitter's landlord is actually Google. Because when it comes to cloud hosting, you have Microsoft, Azure, you have Google, Google Cloud, you have Amazon, that is Amazon Web Services. I think I heard someone say Oracle. I've not really researched to know what they have. I know that these are the big three. So in the same way that Facebook's landlord is Jeff Bezos, Twitter's landlord is Google. All right? But they're trying to leave Google now, but they still owe bills some millions of dollars. So you say all you are saying, you feel important, you do all that traffic. You give Mark Zuckerberg money, all right, free of charge. He pays a cut of that money to his landlord, Jeff Bezos. Who is Jeff Bezos' landlord? The US government. He has to pay tax. And he pays tax way up. What did you get out of that interaction? Have you not noticed that the people who created these platforms and said, tell us your mind, do not use the platform to tell us their mind? Before a person like Mark Zuckerberg posts something on Facebook, that thing has gone through multiple levels of vetting. But you wake up in the morning, thinking like someone at the bottom of the pyramid. I've always had a problem with the term creator. I have. I think that it was maybe just invented to make everybody that they are leeching off of, to make them feel important. What do you do? I'm a creator. Creator. And you create all this content, okay, for what? These platforms don't pay you, so why? I don't mean stop creating. I'm going somewhere, all right? Remember, play bigger, play bigger. Now, creating content. I put this up. What it looks like to me is that somebody wants to just give you an identity so quickly. And you too, oh, well, I don't know what to do with my life yet. I'm young, I'm 16, 17. I don't know what else to put on my bio. They say I'm a creator, right? It's prestigious, right? Creator. I want you to train yourself to see the tip of the pyramid. Train yourself to see the tip of the pyramid. So if you're a photographer, what is the tip of the pyramid of photography? Who makes all the money? Think about that. And you don't have to be an Adobe. All right? There are other levels there that you can monetize. When you look at photography, there's one thing I see a lot of Americans do. I'm yet to see any Nigerian do it. So how many of you use Adobe Lightroom? Okay, some of you are that technical, use Adobe Lightroom. Fantastic. There are some people on Instagram who are so good at using Lightroom that other Lightroom users are like, man, no matter what I do, I cannot replicate the effect that your filters have. Can you export your settings to me and I'll pay you? If you go to Envato, have you heard of Envato? You go to Envato Elements, you see a lot of people that are selling what? It's a simple LUT. It's like filtering a picture and exporting the settings so that anybody else who uses it can have the same effect. They sell that. And because it's online, then you can use the beauty of the global economy and make money from everywhere in the world. You know, when I was much younger, 2013, I stumbled upon a book that changed my whole mindset. I mean, I knew that I was, don't let me spoil your mind, though. I'm just telling you my experience. Please, but go and sack everybody and sack yourself and fire your boss. Yeah? But I knew that I was chronically unemployable. It was just not in my personality. I could not. Even if I managed to be, I would be miserable. But I didn't know any way out because, like I said, I also grew up at the bottom of the pyramid. I knew what I didn't want. But I didn't exactly know what I wanted. What were the options? So in 2013, my favorite thing to do was to listen to podcasts. My favorite podcast then was the Online Marketing Made Easy podcast by Amy Porterfield, because I was just then getting into new media. So I used to eat and drink and breathe her podcast every single morning. And on one episode, she had a guest. Her name was Natalie Sisson. And she called, and the title of that episode was The Suitcase Entrepreneur. I was like, interesting. What is this? And this woman, Natalie, began to narrate her life. And Natalie wrote the book called The Suitcase Entrepreneur. I got the book, I read it back to back. I was like, oh my God, yes, I'm not mad. This lifestyle is possible. This woman, she's living my dream. She was explaining this economy. I mean, now we all have names for it. But she was explaining this concept, 2013, of you being able to live and work anywhere in the world, just out of your suitcase. As long as you had a laptop and an internet connection, you could make money using the internet. And I said, oh my God, this works. That same year, I found another book called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. That one again just finished me. I just knew. I said, yes. I knew that I was not mad. This thing exists. This template of course, again, I was a website designer at the time, bottom of the pyramid. All right, and I lived in Benin City. Cost of living was pretty low. So, you know, on a good month, you could make 60K in Benin City. And even if you pushed yourself to the limit, there was still a lid. But when I read this book by Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Workweek, I said, this guy, the way the book was written was like a novel. I coveted that lifestyle. And I said, this thing is possible. This thing is possible. And I began to study it. And that was how I discovered, while I was asking questions, all right, I realized that there was this thing called the school of the rich and the school of the poor. And in this world, that balance has to be maintained. That's why such these messages, everybody can't wake up, is not sustainable. It's not. These are unsavory things to say, but I'm still censoring. I'm going to censor some things. But in the school of the poor, your options are a given set. But in the school of the rich, your options are a given set. I can't go through all the options. But one template, I would say, ask yourself, where is the money? Where is the tip of the pyramid? I gave you an example. Poor man's child. He is most likely, if he has a passion for photography, to ask his parents to give him money to buy a camera. Not that he's not intelligent, but that is his exposure level. If peradventure that child is a genius and tells his parents the same thing the wealthy kid will tell their parents will be like, please go and help your younger ones get ready for school, please. Put kerosene in the lantern. All right? But now you have come of age, and there's this thing here called the creator economy. All right? I want you to take a step back. Everybody here a creator in some way? Yes? Cool. Take a step back. All right? And rinse yourself off of the brainwashing. Because yes, the brainwashing is necessary, or these companies will not make billions of dollars. Yeah, they have to brainwash you, make you feel important. Speak your mind, your voice, use social media, express yourself. Get on TikTok, make videos. Like, I was really slow to understand TikTok. I was very slow. Because I come from the world of science. I studied computer science in school. I used to be a programmer. So we come from a very logical, so I always try to make sense of things. And I also made the mistake of thinking that everybody grew up being logical like me. So I'm like, okay, these kids are dancing on TikTok so energetically. There's got to be a payoff, right? Like, yes, but no. What has these kids doing this for free? I don't have a problem with them doing it. Do your thing. It's art, I guess. But they all do it for free. I'm like, if they cannot get these people to act like zombies for free, they can't make that kind of money. They can't make billions of dollars. The wealthiest creator, well, one of the wealthiest, is Kim Kardashian. She won't call herself a creator. She's a businesswoman. Right? I was reading on the news how her brand, Skims, was worth how many $1 billion? 7 or so? So you, as someone who creates, you have to take a step back and think, okay, I'm creating all this content. All right, what are the profit centers here? You see, let me tell you something, guys, and I'm sure you will agree with me. One of the toughest things in life is to be a broke influencer. What? All right, and everybody knows their situation and all that. Maybe it's things that we all know and think privately but don't say out loud. One of the worst things is not to be broke, is to be a broke influencer. Because Nigeria is a community that punishes you for being broke. Right? Nigeria punishes you for failure or perceived failure, first of all. So first of all, they can't wait to make an example of you. First of all, you have many followers, many likes, many comments, and you have what they don't have. You're now broke. All right? But away from that, take a step back and look at the peak. And as I always say, use the platforms. Don't let the platforms use you. The number one skill you should have on any platform is not content creation. Have you heard this thing where they say, if the product is free, you are the product. So why are you remaining as a product? Why? Does it not make you agitated in some way? Have you never felt weird about it? No? No, you completed yourself, so I didn't make it up. If the product is free, you are the product. Does that make you feel prestigious? No, it shouldn't. The number one skill that every content creator should have is not content creation. And I won't tell the answer yet. I want us to think together. If the users are the product, where's the money coming from? Let's figure it out together. Where's the money coming from? Where? No, not users. Advertisers. Facebook makes money from advertising. Because advertisers are looking at all these people making a fool of themselves. They don't care. They just see activity. And in all this activity, I can pay Facebook to show my products to all these people and get that attention and monetize it. The number one skill you should have is advertising. That is how you shift away from being the product to actually making the money. It doesn't stop there, but that's where you start. Advertising. Do you know how powerful Facebook is? Facebook at the last count was how many users? 2 billion? 2 billion users, right? The power of Facebook is not even in the number of users. It's in something called the algorithm. Now, this algorithm works with data that they've collected on everybody. Facebook knows you more than you know yourself. They're able to use everything you've done on the platform to predict what you are likely to like or do next. They know your best friend. They know your relationship status because you put those things out for free. They know your favorite toothpaste, your favorite movies. They know who your spouse is, who your girlfriends are, where you went to school, where you live, where you have lived. And they're able to use all this data to predict your behavior. And they're able to serve this data up to the advertisers and say, hey, if you are trying to target your message to women aged 18 to 25, located in Enugu, there you go. How many of you have seen my Facebook ads or ads on any platform? Paid ads. I don't play with my ads. I do a lot of ads. It's the number one skill. Don't let yourself succumb to the brainwashing. Oh, advertising is for advertisers. No, it's the number one skill you should have on any platform. TikTok comes out, spend 1 week learning how to run TikTok ads. Because not everybody will connect to what I'm saying. They will still go and do what they are doing for your benefit to profit, like the billionaires of the world do. Twitter has come out, everybody's going out there shouting. Let them do what they are doing. Your business is, how do I monetize what is going on here? Let's make this connect and drive it home. Every content creator, let me tell you one antidote to being broke. When you look at yourself as a content creator, you may not see this, but see yourself as being in the business of solutions. You create content, but don't call yourself that. You are in the business of solutions. The content is a decoy. You are going to look out there and look for problems you can solve. Catch this. If you are so good at video, people on the internet are going to want to learn how to make better videos. All right? If you are good at posting on social media, people are going to want to learn how to create social media content. Your first job is to say, how can I run ads to target people that are interested in this thing that I know how to do very well, and that I can provide, or that I can teach and sell to them? That is the number one job. And I know, you see, guys, Nigeria is the more you look, the less you see. All right? I know you may have seen people, oh, I'm a content creator, you know, I had this brand deal. Brand deals happen, you know. I've done brand deals, you know, when I used to really do. I don't do as much anymore. But those things don't come as regularly as you think. All right? I know I took some time to explain Homo sapiens. Think. All right? Actual Homo sapiens are not easily influenced. Think. One of the things that makes people not think is poverty. All All right? I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know what you're dealing with. But start training yourself, all right, to not let hunger enter the driver's seat of your decisions. One of the things that annoys me so much is all these things on social media when they say, if I give you $1 million to slap your mother, will you do it? Poor people love those jokes. They're so entertained by those things. Oh my God. It's crazy, man. It's not even funny, man. It makes my heart ache. I hate it. And that's why I can mimic it so well. Because I hate it. Right? That thing, I call it the spirit of Esau. Of what use is my birthright? I'm hungry, I'm dying. The fact that you see maybe your favorite influencer traveling around the world, the more you look, the less you don't know. It's not even for us to start looking into their life. What you don't know. Just leave it. That's got nothing to do with you. All right? Those deals don't come all the time. So don't you can just come and say, oh, I'm a creator, and then you're now waiting for the deals, and they're not coming. Like, why am I wasting my time? They come occasionally, but not enough to make that kind of living with. All right? Where you can actually do this is where you take control of your economy. And here's how you learn to take control of your economy. The very first deal that you get, or if you don't get a deal, maybe your friend gets a deal, or here somebody got a deal. But let's assume it's you that got the deal, yeah? The very first deal that you get, ask yourself, if this person wants to pay me for exposure for this product, what stops me from selling that product myself? You see, try and see principles. When I called a name like Kim Kardashian, depending on your level of Christianese, right? But Kim Kardashian, she knows she controls eyeballs. She controls attention. And at the beginning, she was doing the deals, right? Brands to pay her obscene amounts of money to do. I was like, wait a minute. Why are these brands paying me millions? Maybe I have something that she started putting in her own products, created her own company, and as a content creator, her client is herself. That's the only way she could create a company worth $7 billion. What's this woman's name? Her youngest sister. Kylie, that's her name? It was a time when she was the youngest self-made billionaire. Remember? I don't know if she still is, but that time. What I wish Nigerian youth would be doing is, when you hear this thing, please separate yourself from the conversations of the masses. I take God beg you. That is where your deliverance will start. Please. I'm sorry, I know a lot of you spend your time on Twitter. The more time you spend in those conversations, the more you are sucked into the system. As a man thinks in his heart, you can't get away. You can't leave those conversations. Let me tell you guys something. Side note, when I was 15 years old, I was a bricklayer, right? I know, I've said it a few times. I don't like talking about it, but I was. And one thing that fascinated me in that job, I was 15 years old, a long time ago. During lunchtime, I was way too young to have the other older guys as friends, but I could sit close enough to them to hear their conversations. And one scene happened that I never forgot to this day. Because right from birth, I've been a philosopher. I always question things deeper. So there were these two, I was lesser skilled, so I was just a laborer. But when you're a bit higher skilled, you are called a mason. All right, the ones that actually use the trowel. That's how I know I've done the work. Use it, and you plaster. Right? So these were the senior ones, right? How you mark seniority is that they pay us laborers, I think, 700 naira per day. They pay them 1.5 a day, right? That's how you know I've done it before. And these two guys were in an argument. One of them was Cameroonian. The other guy was a Nigerian. And I don't know who was the Nigerian guy was trying to get an edge in the argument over the Cameroonian guy, and he blurted out something about, I don't know who the richest man in Nigeria was at the time, but he used it as bragging rights. Man, we're all freaking laborers, man. What are you talking about? All right? But I was a child then, so I was like, how do people think like this? Right? And then I grew up to see people who think they're sophisticated, all right? Like when I got into university, and people would be arguing, I'm a Chelsea fan. We bought Drogba for... Who the F are we? I beg you. Now, mind you. Now we buy. I'm like, and these guys be going back and forth. Poor people. What? Anyway, I said that to say this. Separate yourself from those conversations. I take God beg you. You look at the Tower of Babel. They were building. What was the strategy to stop their work? To do what? To confuse their language. Right? I have very different theologies. But when the devil wants to mess you up, it's not a Mount Zion film. It's not a pew. Right? It's by messing up your philosophy of life. Mess up your thinking. Mess up your thinking. So that you, by your own thinking, will sabotage yourself. Anyway, separate yourself from those conversations. I start thinking, where is the money? And that was how one day, while I was starting out, putting out content, I'm saying this so you understand that I was on the same journey as well. I didn't just fall from heaven with all the knowledge. We all started the same way. But see it higher. And somebody paid me some money to help him publicize something, software. I was like, interesting. And I began to research. Wait a sec. Why am I feeling so excited that somebody paid me money to advertise the software? Let me do mine. And that's why today is very difficult for anybody to say what exactly John Obidi does. Because I've broken out of that matrix. I've seen it. I get it. I just provide solutions. Those of you who have been following me for a long time, what I was talking about in 2013 is not what I'm talking about now. AI came, I figured it out in 2 weeks, put it out there, put out a class, demonstrated it very well for you guys, boom. I figured out how to create software. I sell software. Sell software to customers. Wait a minute. Companies might need this too. Sell to them. That's how you begin to climb. But where everybody is hustling at the bottom for, one thing I look at, especially, I was talking about Kylie Jenner, all right? When Kylie Jenner became the youngest self-made billionaire, what I expected people to do would be, how? Train yourself to ask, how? And that's why you guys are so easily scammed. This year will be your year. I know all the trauma from fuel pricing, everything. Yeah. I expect the next question to be how. Some of the best conversations in the Bible, one of them is the one that Mary had with the angel. You shall be with child. It shall be this. It shall be that. How? Second one was Jesus and Nicodemus. Except a man be born again, he shall not enter. Nicodemus was like, hold up. Because he was a learned man. You would tell that to somebody who didn't go to school. Born again. Ministry don't start. You don't even know what the hell you are doing. You don't know what it means. Nicodemus was like, hold on. Born again. I know what it means to be born. But you are saying again. And that's why he asked, do I have to go back into my mother's womb to be born? Some of you are afraid to ask those questions. Maybe you are afraid that thunder will fire you if you ask. No. That is why you are a wise human. You are able to study cause and effect and deduce the principle behind that connection. one thing about the masses are so reactionary. They are so easily dazzled by the effect of a thing. They don't know the cause. Last year, I was on, I was on this same stage, and I told you guys everything that would happen in this election. I remember when I said it, some people were like, if I want to bamboozle you, I will say it's prophecy that I heard a word from the Lord. Yeah? Like, it's not prophecy. It's just being able to see cause and effect. I spoke in parables. I didn't say it exactly, but I told you guys certain things. One thing I did say was that maybe they've told you that your MCM would win, and on the assumption that your MCM wins, it will become a land of milk and honey. Right. Maybe they've told you that, oh, I heard prophecies that this would happen in this way. Don't know, don't care, I don't give a damn. But I did tell you, if you were planning to travel abroad for your master's, do not slow down. I told you guys that very clearly. I knew the outcome, but I didn't tell you because, masses, like, I'll keep that one. And I did say, first of all, now everybody is hustling for PVC. The line at the passport office is no longer that long again. Get that thing now. I told you guys, you have 1 year. By next year, things are going to be damn difficult. I said that accurately. And later on, I had a small lunch with some of my community members. And, I was about to travel back to Dubai. But I think the night before I traveled, I called them to my home in Lagos, and we just had lunch and just to have fun. Duke Peter was there. We just had a good time. I wasn't there to teach or preach, just to chill with my people. But they always want me to teach. They were like, so they were asking me questions. So they asked me, who do you think will win this election? Now, these are my people, my inner circle. So I can be open with them. And I told them, this person is going to win. They were like, what? What do you mean? I said, I'm not telling you my wish. I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm just telling you what will happen. And they said, but what about this? And I said, look. And I showed them cases because I study. I showed them where I had studied elections in multiple countries in the world. And based on my analysis of how similar these countries were to Nigeria, I could predict with accuracy how our own election would go. As a person of higher reasoning, please, do not be easily sensationalized by the masses. Masses. Yeah. They don't know what they're doing. It's the blind leading the blind. A lot of noise. Separate yourself. Those of you that are Christians, all right? Jesus Christ was always in the habit of separating himself. So he could think, he could reason. He still, of course, had compassion for people, so he would still mix with them, help them, but he would always come out, separate, and think, and strategize. What does this mean? There's this documentary on Netflix that I would like everyone to see if you've not seen it before. It's called, some of this, I don't remember the name, but somebody would help me with the name. Yep. The Great Hack. Thank you. That's the documentary. It was about how a certain analytics company used Facebook data to influence elections in some countries of the world. Right? And when he mentioned the names of the countries where it was used successfully, he mentioned some countries. Check yourself and know what the countries are. Right? But he went deeper into one particular case, Trinidad and Tobago. Now, before that documentary, I didn't know much about that country. But it was an undercover journalist that was interviewing an employee of that company, and he said that, well, in this country, the population is divided in between the blacks and the Indians. But the blacks were in the majority. And because the blacks were in the majority, typically they were the ones that held power. But this particular election cycle, the Indians hired them and says, how can you help us to swing this thing our way? And they said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to infuse into social media a consciousness to run a particular campaign. The campaign was called Do So. Now, Do So will mean nothing to you as a Nigerian, in the same way that when we say Nawa, another nationality may not understand what we mean. But when a Nigerian says Nawa, we all know it has a million different meanings, right? So, but Do So to them was something that meant rebel, all right? And their hope was that the youth would interpret that to mean don't vote. Now, they didn't say don't vote, but understanding the psyche of the kids, they said, let us put in this campaign. And the Indians were like, what do you mean? We are looking for votes. You want to bring a campaign and miss people not to vote? Explain yourself. And I said, here's the thing. We've studied the blacks. We've studied the Indians. And we've learned that the blacks are more liberal. The blacks are more easy to influence. Not my words. His words. Watch it yourself and see. He said, the blacks in this country, in that country, okay, not here, are easy to influence. The Indians, however, are very conservative. They will join the campaign, post on social media, but on election day, they will vote where their parents tell them to vote. The blacks, however, they will carry the voting for head. So the hope was that most of the blacks would not show up. And this is exactly what happened. What happened was they did a campaign. All the youth did Do So. The blacks did it. The Indians did it. But on election day, the Indians came out, voted for their person. The blacks didn't vote. Guess who won? The Indians won. And in the final scene, I think it was a woman that was a candidate. I saw her on the final scene giving her speech and said, we just want to give glory to God. And I was like, yeah, I know the God you are giving glory to. That's why I always say, guys, step away from the masses. Think. Make your plans. There's the school of the rich, the school of the poor. That's a very ambiguous thing to say. But many years ago, an Italian economist called Vilfredo Pareto created something called the Pareto principle. What does it mean? It means that in Italy at the time, 80% of the wealth was held by 20% of the people, and vice versa. And it became a principle because it held true in most countries of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, in my studies, what keeps that dividing line is simply knowledge of how the world works. In my latest newsletter, I talked about Letter to the Aliens. If you go to a new country, how many of you have traveled to any country, African country or anywhere else, right? You have? What is one of the first things you do? Tell me. What's the first things you do when you get into that country? Try to get their currency. What else? Maybe learn the language or a few words in the language. At least me, I know how to say I'm hungry and I'm lost. Right? What else? But you as a human being, you have come to planet Earth and you don't bother to learn the rules of Earth. Have you thought about it? Have you ever thought that this earth works on certain principles? And this is what the top 1% of people in the world know. That the bottom cannot be concerned about because hunger, food, hammer, blue, and they will put it in the consciousness. The musicians will be like, if you don't get money, hide your face. At every point in time, before you make any decision, ask yourself, what is informing this decision? Who has me doing this? Why am I doing this? Those are higher thoughts. And as you say, the creator economy, I have already told you how the elite in the world operate. They're not slaves to the social networks. It's just recently that Elon Musk, in order to beat the opposition coming from Threads, the new network by Instagram, started paying creators. And all the creators are now retweeting and showing how much we're getting paid. I'm like, of course, that's what it should be. Every social media user is an unpaid employee. You don't know that? So what I'm asking you today, and I'm going to close with skills of the new economy. I've taught this before, but I call it new skills of the new economy. All right? The problem with the thing I want to share with you is that a lot of people hear them and they instantly tune out. Not because it's not working, but because it sounds hard. But let me tell you, this is why you keep getting scammed again. Jesus said what? Broad is the way that leads to destruction. You don't need to see destruction in its literal form. All right? It says narrow is the way that leads to life. It didn't end there. What does it say? It says, and few will find it. If anything looks too easy to do, it is very unlikely to be the way. The way to life here being a metaphor for what you are looking for. You want to blow, you want to hammer, you want to build a business, you want to be big. The way to that is going to be narrow, and few will find it. Whenever I teach programs, people ask, sir, can I do this without a laptop? Right? And I get it. You are speaking from where you are. But the thing is, all these copywriters know that you have been trained into laziness of the mind. They know. They've studied you. They know you more than you know yourself. So they will just sit down and be like, first of all, these people are lazy. These people are hungry. These people are desperate. There's a way to separate desperate people from their money. It's predictable. Forget about truth. Just follow these principles. So now type, show you an ad, and you're looking. How Chiamaka, a 45-year-old single mother of 4, was able to make her first million in less than 2 weeks from job shipping, using nothing but a smartphone without any prior experience. Hey, Onyoshi. Hey. See, common behavior. You started counting the money you make. Some of you even go and borrow money that say, you borrow me this money. Jamaka, you've not even asked, calm down. Does she exist? I heard a gasp somewhere. Like someone like, wait, I've never really asked myself if these people exist. Sorry. King Solomon said something. He said, the simple-minded believe everything they are told, but the wise consider their steps. One thing I love about Solomon is his philosophy of righteousness was intertwined with wisdom. Right? He didn't see you as righteous if you didn't have wisdom, if you're not wise. They were always intertwined. So he was saying in one line, the wise do this. The next line, and the righteous do this. They were always intertwined. Don't be simple. If it was this easy, everybody would do it. I'm sorry, I don't care who starts convulsing by watching this. I came here because I promised to tell you guys the truth. All right? What's the latest hustle? KDP. See them. Yeah, I know. How many KDP millionaires have you seen in your life? Not that they told you that you have seen. Come on now. Come on now. And you guys have been getting serially scammed. And you see, these people know. They know how much disposable income you have. If I charge 100K for this thing, see, there's some people who will say, if you carry them like this, turn them upside down, shake, she will not fall. But if we bring it down, okay, let's go back to Chiamaka. I'm sorry, is there any Chiamaka here? Hey, sorry, I'm sorry. Hey, should I change the name? Okay, what of, is there any Sandra here? Is there any Sandra here? No Sandra. Can I use Sandra? I joke a lot with the name Chiamaka. I don't know why. She not doing me strong team, but I don't know. Let's go on to that story. How Chiamaka, a single mother they will look for the most impossible, difficult situations that you would think that If this person with all of this could make it, then me, I'm free, I have free time, I don't only have a laptop, I have no experience, I have time to learn it, I will definitely. And they're thinking, these people that think in this way, what's their disposable income? Somehow, they will at least see maybe 12K. They'll say, normally this thing, we sell it for 75,000 naira. But because you are here today, for a limited time only, for 24 hours only, 12,000 naira. Hey, see people. Because in that moment, your desperation has taken over. You're not even asking, if this thing is working like this, why are you telling me? No, wait, this thing is just, I don't shake tables. I don't, but it's just, if you now, you discovered a gold mine. Somehow, I don't know Abuja very well, so I can't really use any landmarks here. But let's say you were, maybe, has anybody gone camping? Maybe with your youth ministry, you've gone camping or hiking. Yeah, you've gone camping? Right. So maybe all these church programs, you went camping with your friends, and you and your friends were just, and you say, I'm coming, let me just see this lizard here. I was very interested. And you just waka, and you hit your leg on one thing. I see one thing is shining. What is this thing? That's a diamond, though. You now kick it, you kick the sand away, and you see a hole in the ground with a lot of diamonds. Then you now come and do webinar. Umunna, come and see. Umunna, come and see. It's not even webinar, sir. Those your friends that you came with. It will be a full-time job for you to act out of character that you saw something. Shamaka, you've been quiet. What's going on? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just feeling malaria, typhoid. I don't know. I want to just go and rest. But you are thinking, hey, how do I? You are strategizing. How do I pack? You are thinking transport from here back to the. The fastest way to make money from KDP, you know how? To teach people how to make money from KDP. And now you get it, Abby. The fastest way to make money from drop shipping is to do what? The fastest way to make money from filling the black spaces. This is why, I don't really focus more on, money. I focus more on your thinking, your philosophy. What's got you thinking this way? And now you've bought all these things, right? So many times. What have you done? Where is the money? So let not be as if I'm shading. I don't have time for those things. What concern me? Right? Think about it. All right? It says, come, let us what? Reason together. Unfortunately, in Christianity, people don't talk about reasoning as much. You are waiting for a vision that will probably never come. A miracle that will probably never come. You read the Bible that said the Red Sea was parted. Yeah? How many times was it parted after that? You're still waiting for it. The greatest miracle that was ever invented was the human brain. It's the greatest miracle. When you understand the power of your mind. Human beings are the only species that can imagine a tomorrow, today, and strategize on a plan for collapsing that timeline. But unfortunately, a lot of people have been programmed into throwing that competency away. I have to say, I get long-winded because I know where you are coming from. All right? I have to dismantle those beliefs first. Now, there are a couple of skills that you must, as a matter of urgency, go and learn. Or one kobo you will not make. That's why I have to frighten you a little bit, that the worst thing in this country to be is a broke influencer. You know where the shaming comes from, being a broke influencer? It's not even from your enemies. You know where it comes from? Your family members. Yeah, because you have been on social media. Brother, so you are doing all of this and I am here. But you know how many meat today your soup, actually. You know. But you can't afford to say it because then they'll be like, so you know even. So it's a confusing situation. On one hand, you can't really help because you're not popping like that. On the other hand, you can't explain that you're not really, because then that's where it gets worse. So please remember this framework. Broad is the way to getting scammed. Yeah? Narrow is the way. It's never going to be easy. How many of you can, sitting here, name maybe 10 of my skills? Most of you that have followed me can name. Because I found the narrow way. With this thing, it's not even about you will never be broke. That one is too. You will build real wealth for yourself. But you must learn them. What are the skills of this new economy? Number one, I mentioned the first one, ads. You must learn ads. And you can learn how to create ads in an hour, all right? Get on YouTube and search Facebook ads course. You don't have to buy a course. You see crash courses. Some are 30 minutes, some are 1 hour. The problem is that this world has poisoned you, that you can't sit your ass down for 1 hour to learn without getting tired. We used to do it as kids, at least those of us in my generation, right, that grew up without social media until it came. We could sit down and focus and learn. But now, and it's not even your fault, there's this book I read called Dopamine Nation. It was a research into how our dopamine receptors in our brain have been fried. We can't focus anymore. That's why in our time, ADHD is the most popular word. Whether you really have it or you don't, everybody, you know. So sit your ass down, learn. In 1 hour, you can master it, and then start practicing, okay? Because you have to be able to use the power of these networks, all right, to target people who will want what you have. Once you're able to do that, you are going to have to bring them over to a landing page. See, I'm mentioning certain things that you have heard, but you're running away from all your life. Yeah? You know now, you know. You have to be able to create that page. That page, we call it a landing page, but it's the first step in what we call a funnel. Somebody like, a funnel again, oh God, I thought I escaped it with drop shipping. They say I could sell on WhatsApp. Jump a funnel again. Create a funnel. Why? We have a saying in online marketing, you do not build a house on rented land. All right? If you're getting traffic from Facebook, Instagram, one day they'll just change the algorithm and you have no traffic. So you have to learn how to use the networks. All right? Use social media to target people. So there's Facebook ads. Please, what I'm telling you will take you at least a month to master. But that time is going to pass anyway. Invest that time. I promise you, you will not remain the same again. Even if you don't sell things online, those skills, you can monetize them as services. There are businesses who need people to do things for them. There are many ways to make money from it. Learn how to run Google ads. Learn how... you see, again, I told you guys to look at the pyramid. Everybody wants to be what? A YouTuber. Because they're telling you, oh, this is how much Mr. Beast made. This is how much... Why is YouTube paying these people all this money? Where's the money coming from? Thank you. The advertisers are paying to put ads on Mr. Beast's channel. And I think YouTube pays, 40%. I'm not sure if I got that right, but just check to make sure it's right. But I think last time I checked it was like 40%. And YouTube keeps 60%. Why is this company paying this much? What are they advertising on this channel? How are they converting that? If they're able to pay this creator this much, how much are they making from that activity? That's how you should think. How many of you here are into makeup? Yeah? Don't be ashamed of it. Come on, there's at least one person here who does makeup. Yeah? Nobody? All right, I'll move on from that. Nobody's into makeup. Who here is into maybe you create content on... It's makeup that's very popular. Why is nobody here into makeup? Huh? Oh, yeah, I've gone off to work. All right. Anyway, one of the things I've noticed with Nigerian, usually females, say female-dominated industry, Nigerian females who are into makeup is, and not really makeup itself, creating content around makeup. And when a brand pays them to endorse something, it's supposed to be a big deal. Have you thought about how that brand makes their product? Let's move further. Have you thought about if that brand makes their product? Back to Kylie Jenner. Do you know what made Kylie Jenner so wealthy? It was what? Makeup, right? What do you call it? Oh, you even went further into it. Thank you. She did something called white labeling. White labeling means that there are companies that don't really care about being known. They don't have time for branding or advertising, but they are very fantastically good at making stuff. So they have this business model called white labeling. White labeling means you can pay this company to put your brand name on the product and you sell as yours. That's what Kylie Jenner did and blew up. But you see, a creator, excellent at what she does, so excellent. Her prayer is to be seen by someone who sells products, to be paid peanuts. You see, one thing I tell my night school students, when we talk about critical thinking, it does not exclude religion. Never outsource your thinking or your theology. Never. You are assuming that the person teaching you is right. Why? I thought we were all called wise humans. Why? I never understood that. Anyway, why am I saying this? One of the most popular things I heard growing up was what? Seest thou a man diligent at his work? He shall do what? And the prayer point amongst poor people was to be the one that stands before kings. What about the king himself? What stops you from being the king that people hustle to stand before? Have you ever thought about it that way? Because even King Solomon that wrote it is at the tip of a pyramid. So he was writing as somebody at the top who was inspiring his subjects. If you are good at what you do, one day I would give you audience. And you, generations later, the white man came, gave you Christianity, you chewed it. And you didn't even chew it properly, Seth. You chewed what somebody else chewed and spat into your mouth. I want to be I'm diligent. No. The battle is not to the swift. It's not wisdom. King Solomon said something about the poor wise man. He said there was a man, through his wisdom, he saved a city. But guess what happened? Nobody remembered him. See, the thing about poverty is not about your pocket, it's your mind. You see, one thing about poor wise people, there are certain, the difference between poor people and wealthy people, in many cases, is in their wise sayings. How people like saying this thing, I'm sorry, I'm saying so it can be better. Yeah? I'm doing my own thing in my own little corner. No. Wealthy people think about what? Scale. Expansion. What was the Great Commission? Go into all the world and do what? Be witnesses unto me where? Jerusalem, where they were based. Then out into where? Judea. Then where? Outside again. Samaria. After that, did he stop? No, he said to the uttermost part of the world. I was reading a book, Startup Nation. Have you seen that book? I didn't finish the book, but there's one thing I picked out of it. And that is that because Israel is a very small country, they know that if they create for just themselves, it's not, so they don't really create what they consume. They create for other people. Just one of the biggest companies in the world came from Israel. So you are here thinking, okay, I'm putting out content. But no. What's the tip? So back to white labeling. This is a life hack anybody here can use. Go on Google and type what it is that you do. It's a true life hack. Type what you do, space, white label. What you will see next is going to shock you. There is white labeling of shoes, of clothes, of suits. A lot of the companies, even in Nigeria, whose products we use, are using white labeling. All right? But I like them, when they talk about their success, they'll say it is what? It's God. It's the grace of God. Nah, it's white labeling. That's what it is. All right? So you think about that. Funnels. Ads. Third one is what? Email marketing. Write this down. How many of you have ever bought something on Amazon before? Yes? Okay, not many because you can't really order directly. But Amazon, do they send you more emails? I always tell people, if you want to learn how the world works, look at corporations. Don't look at one-man businesses. Look at corporations. They follow up. Emails. What is that? That is email marketing. All right? So if you have a social media presence, you should learn how to get ads to your prospects, to people that can buy what you have. Get them to come to a page where they see what you do. Put in their details. Their details go into an email database where you can keep on contacting them. And as we say in advertising, it takes about how many touch points? 7 touch points or so to convince a customer to buy. And then some of us here will have a product. You come to your Instagram profile, you are doing very well, that's okay. But then I'll now come to your bio and I'm seeing a link to buy a product on Seller. You might get a few sales there, but it's likely going to be biscuit money. Every Nigerian wants, one thing that Nigerians call bastard money, yeah? Bastard money, right? That approach is not likely to make you a lot of sales. But what if that link there? So, in practical terms, everybody on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you are, have something you are offering. Has anybody seen me sell on social media before? On my Instagram, have you ever seen me? I've never sold on Instagram. But I sell. Right? Or even on Facebook. What I do on Facebook and Instagram, I give free stuff. I'm like, hey, you want to learn how to build a business from scratch using AI, come and learn for free. And you get a lot of people in there in my email database. And I know that it takes 7 or more touch points to convince someone to buy. So in my email database, using my knowledge of email marketing, I have set up a sequence of emails that will be sent to everybody who subscribed to my free training to buy the paid one. And maybe you see the first email you don't buy, the next day get the next one, the third day get the next one. You will keep on getting those emails on autopilot until you buy, unsubscribe, or die. That is a necessary skill. And I'm saying these things and stressing it because you've not heard it. You've heard it before. It's not the first time you're hearing it. But you're like, necessary. Dedicate the next 30 days of your life to at least learning it. It takes time to master, but learn it. And then finally, selling. Let me tell you something, guys. I used to be the shyest person in the world. Yeah, when Joseph was saying that he used to be, right, see, my own pass your own. Nigerians like to brag about which one pass which one. Yeah? Say, Ngozi, I get headache. This honorary headache, the one where they do me now, hey. Right? I used to be the shyest person in the world, man. But when I moved from Benin City to Lagos in 2014, I looked around. I was a web designer then. And I looked out, web designer, social media manager, both of them. But I looked around Lagos, then I was like, please note the words I'm using. My powers of observation to make intelligent and resourceful deductions. I said the richest people in this place, at least in this industry, there's one thing they all have in common. They can all speak in public confidently, and they can sell a good number of people on their value. And I was freaking shy. I couldn't. My comfort zone was like 5. I'm not exact. 5. I said, man. And the thing is, I could talk, but I didn't have the courage to talk to a lot of people. But I knew that, see, this thing is the way. I said, John Obidi, if you don't conquer this thing, you'll be okay, maybe. But your greatness will go unrealized. Nobody will know you. Only your family will know that you're funny. So I had to learn it. I pushed myself in. I remember then, before I moved fully, because I came to visit a few times, before I moved fully, I went to my pastor in Benin. And I asked him if I could teach the church members social media management for free after service every Sunday. I said, okay. And that was where I was learning. It was for free, but I was testing. I was testing my body language. You know, when you land a joke, nobody laughs. Okay, that's feedback. Okay. You think about it. You teach when they're following, when they're not following. And to them, they were enjoying it, but I was doing target practice because I was like, man, I have to learn this thing. And when I came to Lagos, it was so easy. My first time I spoke in Lagos was at Social Media Week 2014, I think. And I remember, this is the first time I'm talking about this thing, because people are seeing me as bad guy online. I'm telling you, 2014, my first time, I was one of the speakers there. But before I spoke, people were up on the panel, just like this, and I was sitting in front. And I was sitting down there, and I knew that I was next. Now, that's the thing about social media. You look at people's social media avatars, and you don't know what they're dealing with behind the scenes. We all look pretty. And these apps have come to make us even prettier. So these AI apps that came out, everybody now has studio pictures. Crazy. Cool. But so I was just there. I was shaking. I was shaking. My stomach tightened. Hey. And then it was time for me. I came and I sat down. I was shaking. I was jittery. But something gave me life. One of the other co-panelists, my good friend Kingsley Eziani, was sitting there. He held the microphone and was speaking. Kingsley still is a stutterer. He didn't give a damn. Does anybody know Kingsley Eziani? Yeah, he's the founder of Information Nigeria. I just sat down there. I've never told him this before. I just sat down there, and he's a stutterer, but he doesn't care. You wait for him to finish. It's not that I call him to come and speak. You wait for him. And he was very cool, collected, confident. And here I was in an action. I was looking at him like this. This guy was so cool. He's not a public speaker. He has what he does. But here he was giving value. He would struggle with some words. Collect himself again. He would speak. And he gave so much value. Whew. So when he got to me, I was able to draw strength by watching him. And I would start. When I started at first, it was hard. After 5 minutes, I found my rhythm. After 10 minutes. And when I was done, people were now coming to me and say, please, that thing you said, we need it in our company. Can you come and train us? Where's your card? I had one funny card like that. I did one corner with 5K. We did 100 copies. And I gave it out. That was the first. People were collecting my card, and I was like, that's what this thing be. I can't remember what I spoke about social media, but I didn't know it was valuable. I was too caught up in my head about whether what I was saying was valuable, about whether they would notice that I was nervous. But at the end, they were coming, like, give me your card. I was like, all the speakers that I was like, public speaking is it. I got it. Why am I talking about? Now, you will bundle me out of here today. Right? And that's what I'm saying. Selling. I could have just said selling and moved on. But I know that there's somebody here who is battling with the confidence to sell. Let me tell you something about the wealthiest people in the world. They don't have shame. Maybe you are speaking on a webinar, you make a mistake. You think about it for days. These people, they don't get shame. Hey. And I'm not saying it in a derogatory way. I'm looking at it, I'm like, how does this person's mind work? There is this scandal going about. The peasants on social media are trending your name. The very next day they've come out, they are going out, they are launching a product, they are endorsing. But you did not do anything monumentally disastrous. You just made a typographical error somewhere, or you mispronounced the word, or what happened? Right? You have to learn to convince people. All right? I don't like using all these pedestrian slogans, but people say, a closed mouth is the world's sick. Well, so you have to learn how to sell. There's a couple of books I'm going to recommend for you. Go home and please read these books back to back. Where are these books? I wrote them down so I don't forget. There's this book, even if you don't know anything about how to sell online, like there's a lot of books to read, but there's one book that will give you a crash course. All right? It's called Cautionary. It's by Drew, I forgot his name, but it ends with Whitman. The author, it ends with Whitman, Whitman. All right? If you are looking for where to start out in this whole thing, there's so much to learn. Just start with cautionary. Were you asking me something? What? Oh, cash. So think of advertising, but cash instead of ad. So cautionary, right? There's that book, all right? Then that's the first one you should read. The next one is called Positioning. That's one of the first books I read when I came into this industry. Positioning. It's by a man named Al Ries. Al is first name. Ries is Ries. Positioning. And the subtitle there is The Battle for Your Mind. Positioning. The Battle for Your Mind. All right? And this one is a popular book as well. Experts' Secrets. Right? By Russell Brunson. Fantastic book. If you're someone who wants to make money monetizing your knowledge, read that book. If you're a busy person, get the audio version. So when you're driving to work, you can be catching up with that. All right? Then, if you like, the 4-Hour Work Week. I say if you like because that book was written in 2013. I'm not sure if it's been revised for the current realities. Okay? Then, please, you have to, it's not a book, but you have to key in to what is happening with AI. All right? Some of the things that you used to struggle with before have been made so easy. All right? I sell courses on these things, but I will tell you how you can go and get it for free. I didn't come here to tell you anything. All right? Go on YouTube and type in Mid-Journey Crash Course. All right? Mid-Journey is how we generate AI images. Mid-Journey has become so good with the latest updates that they have effectively eliminated stock photography. How many of you attended AI Weekend? All right? Okay, cool. The website for AI Weekend that you registered on, everything was done by AI. Everything. You don't need to know book again. All right? But you need to know how to work the AI to give you those results. All right? So those images on the website were all done by AI. I just thought, I'm trying to represent a young boy working hard on his laptop. Just tell the AI to create the image realistic looking. No copyright infringement issues. All right? So learn how AI can help you do even these things I've told you. How can AI help you write? How can AI help you sell? All right? One skill I want you guys to also add to your learning is on how to do something called video sales letters. What I'm telling you, even if you pay a ton of money, nobody will tell you these things because this is, as we say, where the bodies are buried. The person who does a normal Facebook ad and is happy that I can just put a normal Facebook ad and convert does not make the same amount of money as somebody who can create a sales video explaining a product. I'm telling you of a fact that someone who can speak, as a matter of fact, being able to speak on camera is the new public speaking. The pandemic accelerated that. All right? So learn how to be able to talk into a camera. And there are some ways where you can do it even facelessly, because the best selling VSLs, you don't show your face. All right? How many of you attended my webinar for data analysis with AI? You did? When you were registering, did you see a video? You saw a video? That's a video sales letter. You saw all those things in the video? They were all done with AI. The script was done with AI. The only thing that was not AI was my voice. I didn't even show my face. I just got my laptop. I told the AI, hey, I want to generate a video sales letter for a program I'm doing called Data Analytics with AI. Generate me the copy for the sales letter. It did it, tweaked a bit. I got on my recorder, and I recorded the audio. I didn't show my face. All right? I learned how to put the images over each other, put the subtitles. Boom, it was out there. All right? These are skills that you have to learn, okay? So learn how to create a simple video sales letter. Another thing, I'm sure maybe Dr. Malik may have mentioned this. Everybody, you are not exempted, everybody must know how to edit videos, at least on your phone. It's not that tough anymore, all right? Back in the day, there was complex software you had to have, like Premiere Pro. Now with CapCut, how many of you have CapCut on your phone? With CapCut, those of you that attended my data analysis webinar, that video was CapCut. It shocked you. Things are not that hard, all right? This thing that they call color grading with Premiere Pro, you can do with simple filters on CapCut. Simple. So when I say learn how to edit videos, what I'm saying is just learn how to use CapCut to just cut. When you combine all these skills, listen, please, guys, listen. When Jesus Christ was warning the disciples about end-time false prophets, yeah, what did he say? He said, some people will come and say, oh, here he is. Oh, here he is. It's the same thing. They say, see, the money now is in email marketing. Hey, email is in email. The money, is in copyright, is in copy. The money, 6 figures Facebook. This is the simple Facebook ad that generated 7 billion naira in sales. And for a small fee of 15,000 naira, I will show you the way. Everybody pointing. No, it is a skill stack. But let me tell you, marketing, there's somebody called, what's his name? Seth Godin. He wrote a book called All Marketers Are What? Jesus Christ said something. He said, the children of the world are what? Wiser. Because most of y'all, Christians, grew up with a gentle Jesus, meek and mild, you think that the world is like you. So you are easily deceived. If this man said it, it must be true. So when they say, you easily believe it. No. Step back and observe. You are selling me on the idea that Facebook, by learning Facebook ads, I will get a holy grail. But calm down. Facebook ads is not the only thing you are using on me right now. There's a skill stack. For you to be able to sell me right now, you learned copywriting. There's a button here that says sign up. Look at this page. Who designed it? You created a funnel. I put my details here, and you have been spamming me. I unsubscribe. You did not even agree. You keep on spamming me. It means you know something about what? Email marketing. When I now bowed to pressure and started to buy, I clicked buy now. I saw pay stack. It means you knew how to put a payment button. When I bought, what happened? I got an email saying, here's the access to the course. What is that? Automation. You know the app that helps with automation is called Zapier. Write it down, Zapier. That's what we use. There are other ones too, but Zapier is the most popular one. So if you really want to hack this thing called the creator economy, it is through this skill stack. Otherwise, you are nothing but a slave to those who own the social media companies. That is the truth about it. Social media on those networks is not about, giving people a platform to express themselves. They're laughing in shareholder funds. Right? Use the algorithm. Use the platforms. Don't let the platforms use you. Now, when you understand this whole stack, this is when you will start to make money out of thin air. Ladies and gentlemen, there are times, of course, like I always say, all Nigerians are ambitious. Okay? No matter how high you go, you still want more. You still want more. There are some of you who are like, man, if I can just be like John Obidi. I don't recommend it. Or even me, myself, when I go to bed at night and I lie awake in bed, There are things I want to achieve. Some are within my reach. Some are out of my reach. It's just the truth. It's a human experience. But gratitude helps. And when I'm practicing gratitude and I look back on my life, I look at the life of options and freedom that I've experienced. At times, it brings me to tears because, everybody likes to say, like, when people ask, did you ever know you were successful? Not really. I don't know. I didn't grow up that way. When I was in university, the dream of my mates was to graduate and get a job at InterSwitch. That was the dream. Computer science department then. Right? So that was the peak experience anybody could have. The salary range then was... But when I look back at the path I've taken, the opportunities that it has created for me, the life that I live, that I don't... this sounds pompous, and I know somebody would want to take a cut and put it online and rage, as the mob typically do. But to be very honest with you, this period where fuel price increased is the first time in almost half a decade or more that I knew how much fuel cost. I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be snobbish, yeah? But I don't know how much things cost. I don't know. If you had met me at 15, when I was in that situation that I told you of, and told me that a day would come when I would just walk into a supermarket or a shopping mall anywhere abroad on vacation, and I'm not worried, I'm not looking at the prices of things, I'm just picking what I want, and I would have been like, I know, I wish I could come and do bragado with you and say, I've always known I'll be successful. I didn't really know. But when I walked into this way and I saw the matrix, the time gap, of course, between realization and actualization was quite a bit. We still keep on learning and learning. But the moment I got it, I was like, oh my God, this is it. And everything I was doing now had purpose. Whether I was building community, a Facebook group, I was totally ruthless. And I did it well. When I look over the years, I'm like, man, what a life, man. Sometimes I go to speak somewhere, and they read out my resume, my accolades, awards, and then I finally walk up and they see somebody as look young. Yeah? They were expecting an old man, somebody that I could be in this country, and I'm not concerned about, how much is fuel, how much are things in the market. I'm sorry, I know that some people, you are at the level where you have to, count your coins. I was there too. But I'm telling you that there is a way to life. It exists. But the way to that life is what? Is narrow. There's a song my father used to sing to me as a kid. He sang it in Igbo. I don't speak Igbo, but my dad used to speak it. He didn't want us to have any mother tongue interference in our English. At least if we now have money, at least let us speak well. That was his philosophy. So he and my mother would speak Igbo to each other and speak English to us. That's how I grew up. So I know a lot of Igbo sayings, but in the English version. I know it sounds funny. I know a lot of Igbo proverbs. And if you've had me teach online before, you know I use a lot of proverbs, but I was speaking them in English. So that this song I used to sing, those of you that are really cultural will know the song. It's in Igbo. It goes in English. It starts with aqua chord, and I've forgotten everything else. School is bitter or something. No, not sweet. It's supposed to be school is bitter, but the fruits is sweet. That's the moral, but I've forgotten the actual words. Does anybody know the song? How does the song go? That's the song. That's it. Thank you. I mean, this is bringing memories, right? My father used to sing this song, so he would sing it to us in English, in Igbo, then tell what it means in English. So all the Igbo proverbs I know are in English. I know it's funny. Right? But he used to tell us, when it comes to read your book, read your book, it's going to be hard. School is hard, yes, but the fruits is sweet. He would drum it into our heads at the age of 6, 7. We had to be diligent. It's the same thing, guys. Social media, see, those guys don't care about you. It's about shareholders' funds. It's a messy, bloody world of finance. I told you guys on night school, I'm more brutal. I'm being very politically correct here. I told you guys on night school that the middle class are seen as cattle that are milked for the benefit of the economy. That is your value. Go Google it. Go and Google why is the middle class called the spending class? Because they are easily influenced to spend. There's a level of sophistication a wealthy person gets to that when he sees your ad, he'll be laughing. Make money in 30 days or less. Make money online. Make your first 1 million in 14 days or less with no prior experience. Right? The way to that life is what? Narrow. Jesus Christ said something. He said what? I can't remember how he said it, but he gave this parable of a man who built his house on sand versus one who built his house on the rock. And the one who built his house on sand, when the wind and waves crashed against it, it came crashing down. But the one on the rock, it withstood it. This is how to build your house on the rock. Let me end with a story. I've never shared this before, but in 2014 was when I made my first million, right? Long story. But that same year, I discovered something. I discovered some method whereby you could create Android apps, all right, and monetize them on the Google Play Store and get paid easily with Google AdMob. Now, it's not a new business model, all right, but I found a special way to do it, right? A friend of mine in Benin then, he came to my house and said, John, man, I know a friend of mine who makes money using apps. And I was like, really? If there was money here, I would know. He said, no, trust me. This guy just bought a car. When he said car, I said, how? He said, I don't know, but there's this website he goes to. I said, okay, just give me the website and leave me. I went there, I learned it, I figured it out. I found a better way to do it. Now, this thing, I'm being very vulnerable with you. I'm sharing it because I know that it will give you a little bit of relatability, and you can know that I'm not always been perfect. So in case you are being seduced into making the same mistake I made, you will learn from this story. Anyway, I found, because I'm very analytical, I found a better way to do it, such that I was making thousands, tens of thousands of dollars easily per month. That was in the year 2014, but by beginning of 2015, small boy like me, I've never seen money in my life like that. I started making money, bro. Man. This is tough to talk about because it's hard telling you guys that respect me so much that I knew nothing about saving, nothing about investments, and I just went on a joyride with that money. I had nobody to teach me about building your house on the rock versus on sand. And I did the same thing that any poor kid would do when money just enters your hands. That was the year, I discovered that I could travel abroad. I traveled around. I was doing money misroad things. Not too bad, but the only bad thing was that I didn't think about tomorrow. And I never considered that I was building my entire house on somebody else's platform. I never for 1 minute thought, what happens if it all comes crashing down? This is where it gets embarrassing. So, late 2015, my father passed away. I was in Brazil when he passed on vacation, and I didn't even plan to come back. That was my second time, and I was like, I'm just going to jump back from there. But because he passed away, then I had to come back for the funeral. I came back in January for the funeral. I remember when I got to the village, I went to my uncle, to visit him, my father's brother. And my uncle said, because they call me Junior at home. He said, Junior, this is not Oyibo place, so this is village. No matter what you do during this period you are here, don't let anybody touch your head. I know. It's funny, I'm blushing just saying it, but it's okay. I'll share it. And I said, okay, I've been very nonchalant about this spiritual. Okay, uncle, yeah. So anyway, I went on, the funeral, and I was like, there was nothing in my direct environment that would ever warrant any of these villagers to touch my head. I don't even talk with anybody, Seth. Yeah, I'm firstborn, so I handle certain things, but I really was detached, And then, the way this life works, and then there was a little bit of commotion somewhere. Easily preventable commotion. Tempers just flared. Somebody did not get rice. And I moved in to douse the tension and quickly settle it because something that common sense could have just solved. You don't have to just give this person what she wanted. And I moved in, and as I just solved it, one old woman there was happy that she now got rice. So she now said, oh, make I bless you. She now touched my head. It happened so fast. And when it happened, and I remember what my uncle said. But like, no, nothing. No. Forgot about it. Anyway. So your laugh is very extended. Anyway, what now happened? Finished the funeral, I came back to Lagos. My plan was just to come to Lagos, and from Lagos, travel back to Brazil. But something happened in Lagos. I was like, well, a friend of mine invited me to come and speak somewhere in his church in Warri. So I went. And I was up on the stage, and I was teaching, online marketing, making money online. And I made one very bold and arrogant statement up on the stage. And I said that the beauty of what I'm doing, of this business, is that even if everything were to be taken away from me, I will be able to get it back, just like that, because I have the knowledge. And everybody was clapping. Wow, amazing. It's 2016. Does anybody make money from AdSense here? Either from YouTube AdSense or Google? You do. So you know that it's a habit to check your email every 30 minutes, just in case of any issues, right? It's a habit, right? So as I finished saying those things on stage, and I got down, went to my hotel room, as AdSense people always do. Opened my laptop, checked my email, bombshell. Google had blocked all my accounts for infringement of some copyright, Hey, they said that they're going to send me my last paycheck, and that was it. The first thing that came to my mind, but it didn't come that easily to me because I'm a man of science. But cause and effect, it was hard to ignore. Like, ladies and gentlemen, maybe now you understand why I'm, as you say, so wise. The things where I don't see. People have heard that song, many, many things. There's a line in that song where you say, I don't see how small, but my eye don't see many things. Zinoliski, that's the artist, right? By that time, because new money now, I had moved from Yaba, where I was staying, to Lekki Phase 1. Those of you that know Lagos know what this place. I had moved from Yaba to Lekki Phase 1. I was small boy. And everything had come crashing down. Brothers and sisters, I thought I was a man. But 2016 and 2017 made me a man. Everything came crashing down. Let me not say the other things, but let's just summarize that I had increased my cost of living, big boy, based on a house that was built on sand. It was that year, 2016. You know, when they told Jesus Christ, why is it that you fast but your disciples don't fast? Well, what did he tell them? I said, because I'm still here, don't worry. When I'm gone, they're going to know how to be. I know how to be that year. Everything I'm urging you to do now, well, I say sit your ass down and learn these things that will truly make you wealthy. I had nobody to advise me. You know in the Bible where it said, my Lord said to my Lord. Yeah? A time comes in every man's life where there's nobody to advise you and you have to sit yourself down and advise yourself. You will sit down here and be beside yourself and you have a conversation, heart to heart. And I sat down. I began to learn. I knew these things on some level, but nothing had forced me to really be diligent at it. I was making easy money. I had to, listen, I'm forcing to, I had to learn. I would stay up day and night, learning. Email, what? You see, I don't like that I'm being recorded, though. Shay Bash, you don't off, Abby? Oh, it's still recorded. It's okay. Leave it in there. You know, when I first got up here and I was making mouths, I said I don't really do a lot of public speaking, yeah? 2016, 2017. Those years made me popular because I did public speaking to survive. I was everywhere. Is any of you here from that era? I was on TV, I was on radio. Shy, how? And people will watch you like, wow, John Obidi is so diligent. They don't push also. Yeah. John Obidi is so diligent, he's so confident, see him on TV, wow, so more. Now only me know the masquerade where they pursue me. What? So I had to learn, how does email marketing work? How does a funnel work? Okay, so I tried to sell just now, and I made just 500,000 naira from this campaign. Bro, my monthly bills are well over 1 million. 500,000 naira was cool back in the ghetto. It's not cool right now. If I can't pay my monthly bills of 1 million naira every month, I am literally dead. So I had to figure it out. There was no luxury of I was figuring okay, I made 500K. It's good, but if I did make 500K from this promotion, that means it can be more. What did I do wrong? How can it be better? Okay, I didn't do email marketing. I did an ad straight to the product, and I made 500K. That means if I optimize this funnel, what is a funnel? I went to go and learn, create one. I learned how to use Thrive Architect with WordPress, did the whole thing. I learned how to create copy. I couldn't pay a copywriter. I had to learn how to write copy for myself. I had to learn how to do email marketing for myself. I had to learn how to do Facebook ads. I was doing rubbish Facebook ads before. But now that I had to survive, I had to learn how to write proper Facebook ads. I had to now learn the difference between the income of somebody who does normal Facebook ads versus somebody who can do a video ad on Facebook. It's from that place of desperation and hunger that these advanced learnings came from. I wasn't looking for food to eat. I was looking for food to stay afloat at the level I had placed myself, and then some. And I was, okay, good. All these people that show up on TV, how do they do it in Lagos? They're always on channels, giving their opinion. How do they find them? I was, PR. What is PR? Say, if you have a PR agent, they can book. Who is it? I was somebody that used to be shy before. Who is in charge? You. How much is your this thing? That year, I was everywhere. I will be on channels TV talking. That time, I was not selective. I've spoken on different things. Go to YouTube and type John Obidi. Now you know why there's a lot of John Obidi on YouTube. Right? Just go to YouTube now and type John Obidi. You will not even see my own videos. You see the videos of me on channels TV, on CVC, on Wazobia. I was everywhere. There's been one that I got on. I think it's Wazobia, but the TV. I was just hustling. I did not know until we were inside the conversation that on that program they don't speak English, it's pidgin. I said, sorry, I was on air. I said, sorry, I don't know how to speak. I really don't know how to speak pidgin. I really don't. I had to force myself to learn pidgin. Sorry, we know they speak English for here. Now Wazobia now. That's to show you how much I didn't even figure, That's why it's called Wazobia. Oh, but I was ready on it. I had to improvise. Like, okay, I started speaking one kind of way. I'm so glad I can't find the recording of that thing. It was embarrassing, right? But I finished from there. That same day, you see me on radio. Most of you were in my community then. People were hailing me. Wow. John Obidi. People did not know what was chasing me. I was everywhere. At that time, I'll do a speaking event in Lagos in the morning. I'll finish really before 12. I'm dashing to the airport to catch another one, to catch a flight to Abuja for another event. Bah, do it. Bah. Next morning, I'm coming back. People were like, wow, your energy levels are impressive. I'm like, thank you. Thank you. I have another one to catch in the morning. I hustled, man. And by the grace of God, in those 2 years, I gained wisdom. I was able to put out the fires, and I got to a level where I wasn't just making money to put out fires, but I could start building wealth. But those tough experiences taught me to not build my house on sand, but to build on rock. I know we have all these rags to riches stories. The most sensational story that I've shared sometimes is the one of bricklayer one. All right? But you never heard the one that you made it and lost it. Not because of an accident, because you were foolish. That's one of the worst things, though. One of the worst things, to make a ton of money and lose it. It's not to not have. Because like life has given you a taste and it's teasing you. Just taste it and it's all gone. And you can't replicate it. Those 2 years, there's no mentor that sat me down to school me on, young man, build your house on the rock. Life taught me. That's what you are getting very easily. Because you will go out into the world, and the world is social media and all this, and they will tell you, oh, easy way to make money. Once in a while, you will find that loophole, but it will come crashing down. And the thing with easy money is the first thing that comes to your mind is not when will it stop. Because you came up in the school of the poor, you're like, glory be to God, I've made it. No. If it comes, thank God. Put your foot down and keep on building your house on the rock. Keep on building that solid foundation. All right? And today I've shared with you the core skills. And you see, a foundation is not easy to dig. Those of you who know how building works, a foundation takes a lot of time, and for a long time, it's like nothing is happening. That foundation, ladies and gentlemen, is your learning. Learning the things that matter. I'm sure by now when you see any of these stupid ads on Facebook, they will not have your attention anymore. All you should be concerned about is in learning this skill stack. And then anything you want to do, is it affiliate marketing? Is it creating your own products? Is it e-commerce? Anything you want to do would have what? Predictable results. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a tough thing to share. Nobody, it just occurring to me now that this I just told you, my family doesn't even know. Never shared it anywhere. This is what it taught me, man. You guys saw me on social media. I was traveling. People were like, wow. Yeah? What you guys did not know was that house was what? Was built on sand. It was shit. And when the house came crumbling down, I did not tell you. I did not announce it to you. You still had whatever image was in your head. Yeah? I was working double time to rebuild. So don't make that mistake. Don't be so easily deceived. I know that things may be hard. I've told you so many stories here. I've seen it all. I don't know, by the grace of God, with the genetics that He gave me, I don't look like where I'm coming from. Thank God. But I've seen it. I know exactly how it feels to live from hand to mouth. I know it. I get it. I know. But the beauty of being human is something called imagination. You can separate your circumstances from an imagination of what you know your ideal life would be like. The beauty of the times we are living in now. You see, back when I was going through all these things, social media had not come as far. There was almost nobody going online to teach for free. There was no Julius Afolabi. Nowadays, you can see, you heard him speak here. Some of you will send him a DM and he will answer you. In our time, that did not exist. There was nobody we could talk to. I mean, maybe they existed, but they were not reachable. Now, you have Julius, you have Philip, you have Eketi, you have Joseph, you have Duke. Anything you are going through, they are one DM away. Don't waste this opportunity. How many of you have sent me a DM and I answered? Almost all of you. There's nobody there, it's me. I answer everybody. And you are shocked, like, it's me. Yeah. I know what it's like. So that's why, no matter how busy I am, no matter how tired, even I may not respond very lengthily, but I will respond, I will acknowledge. And some of you are wondering why I'm brief in DMs, but I may not have all the time, but I will acknowledge you, I will greet you, I'll be cordial, I'll be respectful. Some of you are like, wow, John Obidi, wow, humility, so humble. I don't see. I cannot be proud. maybe if you didn't know this story, you'd be like, wow, such a fruit of the Spirit. I don't know if without my go-through I would have been, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. All right? But the point here is that you send some John Obidi a DM, and he responds to you. You send these people that have come to teach you. As in, it doesn't just end. Back in the day, when we used to go for seminars, when we were much younger, everything you would experience in that speaker will end in that. Or that was the end. And maybe if you had some extra money, you could maybe buy a CD. But this interconnectedness, you want to waste it on TikTok? Build relationships. Who was it that was talking about? Was it not Salem? That he asked people, what are you going through? Bro, that did not exist. If they had asked me that time, what are you going through? Help me. Help me. Life, they carry me go where I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, play bigger. Thank you.